I'm Sarah,
And I'm Victoria,
and this is the Yap to That podcast.
where we chat, laugh, and decompress. Let's get yapping.
But you guys, the JoJo Siwa dream guest on my podcast? No, I swear to God, I was gonna post that using that caption, and when you post this fucking thing, I was literally gonna post that with the caption, "Dream guest on my podcast." You should. I swear, I'm gonna. I love that. I saw it, or I was thinking about it when I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a special guest," and then I had to look it up because I was like, "Did she say special guest on my podcast or dream guest?" Dream guest on my podcast. Have you seen that video? I heard the sound. It's so shitty. Sorry, JoJo. I know you're a listener, but God, wait, I need a blanket. It's literally the first thing that comes up when I type dream. Yes. Wait, dude. Yes, on my podcast. Oh God. Mind you, this is an award show, and this is what she looks like. That's so scary. Yeah, bro, that's so funny. Literally wild. Also, how's everybody's week? It's good. Just checking. Nothing special happened. This happens every time. I know. I can't remember. That's okay. I'm so sad that my ring is lost forever. Yeah, I'm actually sad for you. I actually really thought that was gonna work. Actually. And Nana even asked about it yesterday. She was like, "Did Tori find her ring?" I was like, "No." I don't understand where it went. I don't understand. I have a photo in the morning with it on my thumb, and it was not loose. Yeah. I literally. When I put a ring on my finger, I do this. I make sure it's not. If we had a ring on, I feel like we would know if it, fell off. You know what I mean? And you checked your car? Yeah. Well, I haven't, fully cleaned my car yet. Maybe that's where it is. Yeah, I'm hoping that that's where it is. But it still wouldn't really make sense for it to be there. And I don't remember it being there because I usually play with it on my thumb. Mm-hmm. I also don't understand how it took me so long to realize. Mm-hmm. But I was go that whole night. Do you take off your rings when you wash your hands? No. I literally never take them off. So how would it... I don't know. And I don't use my left hand. And you're sure you wore it to work? I have a photo with it on at work. Because I took a photo of my nails. It's great. I was so sad. And then I was and it's the ring Matthew got me in Disney. Aww. You said that has no scenty, but that does have scenty. I know, it's not something that can't, I can replace it with the same ring. Yeah, because I can just buy it again. We're not the same man. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." But then he was like, "If I lost my gold chain, you'd be pissed." And I was like, "I didn't do it on purpose though." And my biggest fear is losing a ring. I've never lost any piece of jewelry ever in my life. So then this happened, and I was like, this fear just came to life. And I just fix it. I genuinely the logistics behind it. I don't if it was a bit big, it would make sense because obviously that's gonna slip off. But these rings, they don't budge. Yeah, and it's look at the knuckle on my thumb compared to the lower part of my thumb. Yeah, my knuckle is wide. Mm-hmm. So how did it just slip off? And it used to sometimes I'd pull it off and it would hurt to pull off because it was not that loose. And you're for sure you didn't take it off? Mm-hmm. Because all my other rings were off. I literally realized it was missing because I take all my rings off and I put it on my straw when I go to the gym. And so I went to take all my rings off and stack them, and I thought I dropped it, but I was I didn't even pull it off. And I have a video at the vet with Samantha on Monday and it wasn't on. So that's so sad. Things will still turn up. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope. And the cleaners at work take the garbage out every day. So if I threw it in the garbage with something, it would not be. I don't think so. You know what? I will say, Pop lost his wedding ring. Okay, for I don't know if it was a couple weeks or a month or something. Nana said the prayer, and he didn't find it right away. But after they think 2 weeks later, he was throwing stuff in the recycling bin. There was stuff in the recycling bin. It was literally sitting on top of all this stuff. Mind you, it was garbage day. That's the only reason he went in there to throw his stuff in. And he looked and he saw it and he was like, "Oh my God, put it on." And then, yeah. So keep that in mind. It could definitely still turn up. That's the thing. If I knew where I lost it and what happened, then it would make sense that it wouldn't return. Because do you remember a couple years ago we were at your house and we were cleaning out our cars, washing doors. Christina stuff? Yeah. Yeah. I had a bag of cookies from my dad that he gave me with a fork in it. And it was a sentimental fork. He finally gave me this fork. Okay, I had it for 4 days. I'm cleaning out my car. I'm bag of cookies, chuck it in the garbage. Throw this thing in the garbage. And it's the fork that I'd eaten with since I was a baby. It was the only one that we ever had. It was a regular metal fork, but it had this wooden... Dad, I really hope you're not listening because you don't know what's lost. But it had a wooden insert in the metal, set in. I don't know, it was just really... sentimental. Yeah, it was my uncle's and then my dad's and then mine. So really weird. And I was at the cottage for my anniversary at one point, and I opened the drawer and just saw forks, and it just hit me that I knew that I threw it out, and I just started bawling. And the person I was with was like, "Bro, what is going on?" Because he didn't know anything. I didn't even know I lost at that point. I just realized when I opened it and saw them, I was like, I just threw out this one thing that like I finally got to take home. And then my dad, like a year or two ago, was like, "Anyone know where my forks are?" I was like, "You gave that to me." And he's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "But I don't know where it's at." Yeah. I'm hoping that it turns out, because yeah, it's one of those things that does not make sense. I remember Natalie lost. Do you guys remember our grade 11 like religion retreat? Yeah. Wait, the 11? Grade 12. Oh, it's grade 12. Okay, yeah. Do you remember Natalie losing her ring that gave her? No. Okay, we were in like these bunk beds, and Natalie lost her ring that I had given her. I do remember those bunk beds. Yeah, me too. And I don't remember who, one of the teachers or whatever came in, and she was like freaking out. She's like, "I cannot." And I swear someone was like, "Say a prayer to St. Anthony, it's fine." And then she found it like later that day, and it was the most insane thing. But the fact that Nana, so when I met her happy birthday dinner, she's like, "We're still praying to St. Anthony for you." I was like, "Oh, you know what? Don't feel obligated. Now I feel bad. I'm going to pray St. Anthony for the rest of my existence." We never find it. She brought down this like card with like the St. Anthony like prayer on it. It has like a little, I don't even know what's like in it. It's like a little token or something. And she's like, "We use this to pray for us." I'm crying. She said, "Thank you." It's so sweet. It's so cute. I'll try not to lose anything else ever again. It's okay. I genuinely have faith it's gonna turn up. Like actually, yeah. I think when you like clean your car, like when you do like your spring clean or something, it'll just like be underneath your seat or something. Yeah. Don't vacuum. Like yeah. Oh my god. Take a video. Like put it on flash. Take a video like underneath your seats and stuff, and then watch the video like in slow mo. I was gonna clean my car today. Maybe I will tomorrow. Cause like the baby shrink was only till like 2:30, and then we're recording. I didn't get to show you, but I showed just the other outfits that we got. They're so cute. The overall one's my favorite. So you saw the overall one, right? I think so. Like the first one that I bought. Yeah. And then we bought 2 more. We were at Walmart, and I was like, "Matthew, come pick something." He's like, "I'm too tired." I was like, "Pick something from you for your nephew." No, the card, it's so funny. She signs Auntie Victoria. Love Matthew. Yeah, Matthew was like just about to write. I was like, "Sign it with your own." I wrote a paragraph. Write your own paragraph. He's like, "I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this." Freaking men. I was like, "Bro," and then I read it. He actually did read. Like, he pulled his phone out. I was like, "Don't tell me you're Googling something." AI, please tell me. AI, please. I know. Can you please write a card for my sister's baby? But I said like a message to Michaela and then a message to like the baby. So I was just like, "Proud of you. Can't wait to see you." But so I said like a message to Michaela and a message to the baby basically, and then he copied. But it was really nice because I didn't know what he was gonna write, and then it was really cute actually. And I was like, "Look at you, being a good brother." But that was basically my week. I don't think there was oh my god, actually no. I was having such horrible dreams this week. And I wrote them down because I knew I'm screaming. No, I was like, I'm not gonna remember. All of these horrible dreams, it's the moon. I'm telling you, this is the reason for everything. I swear by it. I had a dream too. Yes. I kept having nightmares. Did you remember one night? No. She says this all the time. She's like, "I have bad dreams, but you should keep a dream journal. Because then you write it immediately, or like a certain note in your folder." I totally forgot. It was like one of the nights I slept at my house, I just kept having nightmares, and I went to the bathroom like 4 times. So I was like, "I'm literally gonna die in this house," but I don't remember why. Yeah. I had a dream last night that Matthew and I had this huge house. But but I looked up at one point and the ceiling was broken. The left side of it was open, and the cats were like running around. And I watched it turn from a hole to the entire ceiling. But it was a rental property. I'm scared. And like, even in the dream, how am I gonna tell my landlords that my cats ruined all this? And I don't know if it's because like sometimes I hear things in these walls. I don't know if they're like squirrels or raccoons or something. In the walls? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, Matthew has to go up in the attic. He just hasn't yet. I'm like, where is the attic? In there. In the closet? Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, above the closet, but like the entrance to the attic is in the closet. Oh. But sometimes I hear things. So I was like, maybe I just heard something the other day and then that like triggered it. But before that, like last week, I think, I was having dreams. I think this was my own doing because I Googled the plane crash. I just wanted to see it again. Wait, what plane crash? The one at Pearson. What? This plane flipped upside down. Oh, yes. Yeah. Like, it's old news. Yeah, I watched it again. So I was like, I want to know why, like, or how it even flipped. So then in my dream, I was on like a playground and I was just watching planes crash into us over and over again. Screaming. Just like, it was the wildest thing. I don't understand why I was having this dream. Whoa. But like all week, and I can't remember them all, but I've been having like horrible dreams, and your bride probably is the moon. It 100% is. I genuinely stand by that. Anything weird that's like going on, I genuinely in my soul believe that's what I agree. Like, seriously. And this was like a lunar eclipse type thing. Yeah, so that's supposed to throw off any. And it's like Mercury retrograde. I don't know if you guys believe in all that. I do. We want to do an episode where we Google that stuff a little bit more because I don't know anything about astrology. Please do. Please. I love that stuff. I think I told you this last week. I just tell you. I woke up at one point in the middle of the night. I think this is right before I put the dog gate up at the door so that the cats wouldn't keep waking me up. I was like, so it was like my crasher moment. Crasher moment's crazy. And I get up and I like look over and I swear on my soul, I don't know if this was a dream or not. I think it was real. Don't. Is it something scary? Matthew is sitting upright looking at me. Ew! Does he remember? No, he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. I literally, bro, the way I just like went to bed, rolled over. No. Bro, did I show you guys that video of my dad when he was like sleeping, sitting up? Yes. When he was like playing games or something? Yes. Oh, no, yes. Writing a friggin' note. And this guy's like, yes. I had like a pen fully ready to like write. And this guy's like, also, he didn't even, you know how some people when they're like falling asleep, like sitting up, they're like nodding their head. Mm-hmm. He wasn't. He was like a zombie. Like he would like low key, but he was just like readjust. It was so odd. I was like, it's like he was fighting his sleep. Yes. Really hard. Because he was not like letting his body go. Yeah. No, he wasn't. He was so tense. That is so funny. Ew. In the middle of the night? I swear on my life, like to him. No. I was like, how about, and you know when you're scared, but you're like, I can't be scared. I would have just been like, oh, hello, are you awake? I think I literally just was like, and rolled over under the blanket, and when I'm scared, I just go under the blanket. Yeah, like, yeah. Unfortunately, Matthew was me. Yeah. No. I've had so many stories about that. Really? Yeah. No. Yeah. You've never done it with me, though, ever. I know. That's the weirdest part, because you've never, like, spoken in your... Maybe I'm a heavy sleeper, I don't know, but I've never heard you. I heard you. You are a heavy sleeper. You've heard me because you're awake, and I'm taking a nap, and then I'm fighting myself. No. She's the funniest. Okay. You are the funniest. You sleep like a popsicle stick. Yes. So creepy. You just like you're being mummified. You're like you're already in your coffin. And you're like, everyone said that. It's because I don't move literally at all. So if I fall asleep, like I'm staying like that. I know. If I move, it's because I know I'm moving. Like you are funny as hell though. No, this girl, I remember this vividly. We were at her mom's house, like the one on what was it? No, you remember the one around here. Yeah, like up the road from here. Yeah. Anyways. We're in her room, we're in her bed, and it's like 10 a.m. or something like that, and I'm up, I'm fully awake. She turns over to me, first of all, puts her leg on me, and I was like I'm cuddling. Yeah, which it happened multiple times. Yeah. Anyways, so after that, she like turned over, and she was like, the cows have to go out, like, and I was like, what? And she was like, the cows, they have to go out. And she was like giving me attitude. No, she's getting pissed off because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, never mind. Turns over. And I remember this. Oh my god. I was in that like place between being awake and being asleep where I'm awake enough to know that words are coming out of my mouth, but too asleep to control them. And I'm like trying to speak and say what I want to say, but like the part of me that's sleeping is taking over. And I'm talking about cows? Yes. And I wasn't doing about cows. I don't remember cows. I just remember being like this and trying to speak, and I like felt like I was possessed by my dream. Like, yeah. I had no control. And it's happened multiple times. Yeah, it's horrible. Horrible. I was like, well. My boss came to me the other day. So remember how I said last week I was working at this deadline? And like, it was just really stressful. Mm-hmm. So Friday, at this point, it had been a week since I submitted everything. She's like, oh, the person from the company messaged us and said they didn't get any of our submissions. And I was like, I worked on those for so long. I almost had a panic attack. And she's like, no, she was just wrong. And I was like, bro, one of my great anxieties was that I didn't submit everything. Like, because you enter them into the system and then just sit there in draft, but you have to actually submit them afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I panicked all week that I wouldn't actually submit them. Yeah. And then I did. Thank God that it actually went through. But I was like... Also, who says that? Like, who says, oh, by the way, I didn't get them. Did you not want to, like, check first? No, she also called it the wrong program. And I'm like, you are the company. What? Are you okay? You have, like, the higher-ups in your, like, field. I just, like... They're all unorganization. Struggling. Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't, like, our organization. It was, like... Oh. It was, like, someone who gives us money. But I'm like, if you're giving people money, you'd think you have a lot more like know what you're giving
Control.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. All right. Well, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we have a special guest today.
I don't know if you noticed.
Jess, do you want to introduce yourself? I am Jess. That's all. Please cut out the awkward part after. No, keep it in.
What I actually wanted to do was make because at the beginning we have the I'm Sarah and I'm Victoria. This is the whatever. I was like, maybe I should add the and I guess like to the front part.
Master.
Good idea. I'll try and see if I can like
Pause it.
yeah, I split it because I can do that. So today we're gonna talk about a movie. Is it a documentary?
It's a docuseries.
Yeah,
docuseries.
Yeah. Basically, Sarah thought it was about a plane crash.
Okay, Victoria and Jess told me it was called 8 Passengers. Immediately, I think plane crash. Okay, to be fair, like I said, 8 passengers could realistically be anything. It could genuinely be a plane crash. So that's fair.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought it was. So I go to type it into Disney Plus. Nothing comes up for 8 passengers.
Literally.
So that's why I text the group chat. I'm like, hey, what is this called? And then it comes up. I'm like, that's not a plane.
Yeah, you called me and Will was like, I said the name and Will was like, bro, you said it was 8 passengers. They're like beefing on FaceTime. And I'm like, well, I mean, their YouTube was called 8 passengers.
Yeah.
So like we did just refer to it. I didn't know what it was called either.
Neither did I, to be fair. Like, I literally until
We
I
were just saying 8
Googled
passengers
it, yeah.
documentary. But it is basically about Ruby Franke and her
progression. Crazy. I don't even know what the word is. Yeah.
Abuse in general.
I think it was like influencers gone wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which by the way, my first thought about this whole thing was Chad. So on like social media and stuff, there's like this whole thing that Chad's like still brainwashed and like whatever. I think like he explained like at the beginning she wasn't abusive or like to the extent that it got to. And it's like she can still be a mom like in the beginning and then have that like overtake it like social media, you know what I mean? And I feel like when he was talking about it, like people are like, oh, he's still brainwashed. I was like, I don't actually think he's still brainwashed. I just think he recognizes that there's a difference in like behavior.
Yeah, and like
he didn't experience the abuse that the younger children did.
He did though, because there was one point where Sherry or whatever, the older girl, said that she helped him clean his own blood off the walls.
I do remember that.
Because he was beat that badly. But I don't think it was as long. Yeah.
He definitely was abused because they also took away his bedroom for like 7 months and he was like sleeping on a sofa. Yeah, which by the way, I remember, okay, so I never watched like the YouTube channel.
Okay, so when did you hear about them?
I saw TikToks of people like chirping them and how cringy she was and stuff. So I saw this like when TikTok started becoming a thing, so like maybe like 2019, 2020 TikToks, and I would see like videos of them like making fun of them and stuff. So that's how I saw. But there was like some clips that they showed like the full clips in the documentary compared to like what I saw. Like that was the craziest part. Like, I mean, obviously, like what goes on behind the scenes, like no one knows. But I didn't realize like it was like that fast.
Like she's in a video in 2 seconds, she's screaming, and then she's like. Yeah, it's like scary.
Scary. Yeah. But like anyone could be like that.
That's the thing. I actually didn't even hear about her until probably maybe 2 years ago. Like when
she got arrested.
Yeah, like I heard about her, and that's why I made a note. I was like, this happened so fast. What? You never heard about her?
No. Not one time. To be fair, they didn't like make it like a huge thing. Like Gabby Petito, that was way bigger because she was like missing and like whatever. But with Ruby Franke, like. I saw it on my For You page the most just because I already had like,
you also followed a lot of YouTube family vloggers.
Yeah.
Like the Ace family and all that. Also went off the rails. But like
all of them are off the rails.
I never YouTubed anything. Like I never watched people on YouTube, but she did. So I feel like her algorithm would be more geared to things like that.
For sure.
Which is like so weird because like I did watch the Ace family, but I think that was it. But yeah, they never came up on my For You page.
Because they're no longer a big unit.
Well, the last date I saw in the series was like August of 2023.
For the Ace family?
No, for the Frankie family.
Yes, because in 2023 is when it all happened, I think.
Yeah,
it did.
And that wasn't that long ago.
That's when I started hearing about it. Because some of the videos are, like, the youngest isn't even born yet, and she was, like, what, 10?
Not even. I think she was like 8
when it happened.
I remember watching her. She was like really little, like when I was watching her, like on like those clips and stuff.
There's like the pregnancy or the gender reveal cake. So like,
oh yeah,
it was like 2010. Like there's a video from they're talking about it being 2010 that they started like the whole thing. But yeah, I never heard about them before. And then when I realized that they were making this documentary, I was like, wow. it happened so fast, but it's just because of when I heard about it, not because it was actually fast at all.
Yeah.
And they show like the progression of the videos throughout the whole series.
Mhm.
I found that was kind of interesting.
That was so interesting because I remember seeing clips of like them from the beginning when all the kids were like super young and like they were into it. Like you saw like Chad was like into it, like Sherry was into it. They were all like having a fun time. Like it was actually like genuine. And then it got to a point where she was like acting like in a way.
Yeah.
Like she was like, you know,
Forcing it to happen.
Forcing. Yeah, that's the correct word. And like that's when it all changed. Like, you could tell with especially with the two older.
Yeah, Chad looked like dead in his soul.
And
but
Sherry
was also
too.
honest.
Like,
She was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
this doesn't make me happy.
She didn't listen.
No, and I feel like I don't know if we've discussed together the stuff that's happening in California with family vloggers.
Oh yeah.
So there's like a tax. No, it's not tax, but there's a new law that if you're in California and you're profiting off family vlogging with your children in it, 40% of that income from the video with your child has to go in a trust for them.
good.
So the LeBrant family and other families are moving out of California, so they don't have to pay their kids.
Oh yeah, and people are saying that's not the reason why they're moving.
But like,
Because they're
how convenient.
Yeah, how could you say that? Wow.
That's
I don't actually know if it's a LeBrant family, but that there are families specifically that are moving because like why else? But
that's crazy.
yeah.
I didn't realize that. You know what I will say though? One of the notes I was gonna make was I liked at the beginning of this whole series when they kind of explained like why everyone was like into family vlogging because I do feel like that kind of blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like there was like a couple like the Ace family like that was like years and years ago. But other than that, like I feel like it kind of blew up like Taylor, Frankie, Paul, and like all of them. And it was interesting to realize that it was because of like the Mormon Church and how like he was saying like to spread the word of God, like you need to spread it on the internet and like. That she genuinely thought like she was like doing God's work.
Yeah,
I thought that was so interesting.
Also had that as a note because I didn't know that Utah was the capital of the Mormon Church.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, I didn't know that at all. And I also didn't just like. This just makes me feel a certain type of way, and I've always kind of felt like this about organized religion. Like you can be religious, you can have your beliefs, but when it comes to like hard-earned, structured, organized religion where there's one powerful person, I feel like that's where religion gets like, you lose the actual meaning of religion. Like, you don't believe in God only when you're making sure the devil's not in your children anymore. Like, you believe in God in everything that you do.
Yeah.
So, like, organized religion is so freaking scary sometimes because people take it so literally.
Yeah.
And I find it's like
a lot of times with the Mormon Church.
Yeah, and
it's scary.
You're always doing harm because you're like, Jesus would want this or God would want this, and it's like, yeah. How are you gonna accuse your children of being possessed when they're just probably just children having a temper tantrum?
Yeah,
I have a thing. Have you guys seen those TikToks when it's like the BYU questionnaires? And it's like, okay, it's like this guy who goes to like, or he doesn't go to BYU, but he like visits there. Do you know what that is? It's like a university, I think, that's like for Mormons.
Okay, yeah.
So this guy will go there and question students. It's like Joseph something.
But it's like same type vibes.
Yeah, that's the guy that's going and questioning, and it's like
Joseph Smith?
Yeah.
Okay. He's the leader of the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was also gonna say it was giving cult vibes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Whoa. When she was
You talking about Connections?
no.
Before it got to connect.
Before Connections, someone saw her in public, and he was like, I converted to the Church of the Latter-day Saints because of you, and that felt culty, and I feel like that's a big turning point in her because she was like, I can do something for people. I have a platform.
I can control people.
Exactly, like what I say goes.
Yeah.
And also with her relationship with Jody. First of all, did you guys think they were lesbians?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Immediately I thought that.
You're asking about that. Yeah.
And so did her daughter.
Do you have massage oils? Don't tell me.
Massage oils, like
You're sleeping
candles,
in her bed at night to protect
sleeping
her.
together in bed,
Yeah,
which
to
makes
protect her from
no
what?
sense. One of my theories was that she was, and I don't know how it is in like the Mormon and Latter-day Saint church. I don't know how that is or how gay people are seen as. But I wonder if she knew she was gay or lesbian, sorry, if she knew that she was sinning in the eyes of God, allegedly, and she was taking out, like she was repenting through her kids. Like, if she's like making her kids pay for her sins.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's something that I had like kind of thought of because she was always like that, and then it got way worse when she started with Jody. And obviously Jody was like an influential person and like her own kind of weird cult vibes, but like I wonder if she was she's like, I've been sinning, so they have to be extra good because if I don't go to heaven, at least they have to. Like,
That
do you
makes
know what I
sense
mean?
too, because she literally kicked out Chad.
Yes.
And her husband was kicked out because whatever.
With Chad though, they're kicked out at the same time.
Yeah, and okay, there's two things about that. One, when Chad was kicked out, she blamed it on like the fact that he was watching like porn and she didn't know about it.
girls at nighttime.
Yeah, like, well, first of all, what the fuck? But
He's
anyway.
a teenager, but it's fine.
Not even that, but like you're gonna kick him out for that? Like if
At
you have your own
17.
beliefs is whatever. Yeah, like that's crazy. And also, the dad gets kicked out at the same time, and you're telling me you forced your son to get a fucking apartment? You wouldn't even like take him in with. He's 17 years old. Is that even legal to get an apartment?
He went to res, like university
Oh, right,
residency.
yeah.
The whole dad situation, I know he was a victim himself, but there's something fishy there because you don't get kicked out and say, my wife knows what's best. I have to give her and my kids a year? You didn't see your kids for a year?
Or even reach out. Like, Sherry reached out to you and you fucking blocked her?
Exactly. So, like, something, he had to have known that she, like, I'm not saying verbal abuse is okay, but, like, obviously there was verbal abuse before he left home, and, like, manipulation, sure, but maybe, I don't believe that he didn't see it, because he's like, I didn't know what was happening, I didn't know the extent of it, but, like, maybe he was at work, or, like, when this stuff was happening, and she cut all this stuff out of videos.
I think what he didn't know was happening was like when they took the two younger ones to Jody's house. That I believe because obviously he wasn't in contact with them. But I think before that,
I never knew when that even happened. When they went to get them from Jody's house, I was like, how did they get there? And why are they there?
Yeah,
I never remember them saying that the kids moved to Jody's house.
They didn't move. So I guess they mentioned how like what's her name? Ruby was in like the house, everything was fine, and then she would leave for like days at a time.
Yeah,
so that was and that was the first time
the neighbors started being like, there's like child neglect there because like you could see the kids. Yeah, they go on like casual walks and see like children's heads in the windows, being like, are they home alone? And they tried to call the police.
The police didn't do anything.
Yeah, because the judge wouldn't sign a warrant.
They needed like concrete. That's like the whole thing. There's like a problem with CPS, which there is, but like they needed like some sort of like physical evidence that the kids were being like neglected. That's when and then eventually like she started bringing the two younger ones. I don't know. So when they found the two young ones at Joey's house, they found the two middle ones at like some neighbor's house.
Yeah, at a different
I don't know how that happened. Like I don't know how she
sense.
dropped them off. Like I don't know. And you know what's interesting? In this whole thing, I feel like they focused obviously a lot on the older ones because like they were talking a lot, which makes sense because they were out of age.
Yeah.
And obviously the younger ones because they were like the most abused from what we could tell. But they didn't mention the middles like at all. I actually forgot about them. Yeah, like
until the end.
Yeah. I don't know. When they played that video, so originally when like at the beginning of the series when they played that video of the kid like walking up and he was so skinny, I've seen it before, so like I was just like it wasn't like anything new. But then in the third episode when they played like the full clip, I cried. Like
I did too. I teared up because the guy. Did you see that part? Or
Yeah,
when
the guy's choking up on the phone with the police. That part hurt me so bad because somebody's coming to your door in a neighborhood that you've lived in forever with people that you know.
A nice neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't even remember what I was saying, but I thought they were. Oh yeah. He fully agreed and was like, "I was wrong." Yeah, but he was also a victim. Yeah, he was probably also abused and manipulated, and she was very cult-like. So she was like somehow convinced everyone that she was the leader, and so he truly in his heart believed, if I give her space, we'll get to save my marriage. I think also he was like in this like cult vibe too, not even just from her, but like he was doing those like men's calls or whatever, which was horrible. Like, especially when like Jody was starting to go after him. Like I was like, that's fucked up. But anyway, like when he was sitting in the calls, like he said like their marriage got better, so obviously he was like believing it. And he said like when Jody was doing those like possessions shit, he genuinely believed that she was possessed and that they needed to help her, and like this was like their calling and all that shit. Like that's just blind faith. Everything definitely got worse when she met Jody, but not because of Jody, but because of like the power that Jody enabled in Ruby. Yeah. And you know what? I want to say one thing about that. When they had like the ruling and Jody originally was like charged with more, or she was supposed to be sentenced with more or something, there was like a discrepancy between the two of them. I didn't understand that because I was like, those are Ruby's kids. Like Jody, that's fucked up. But Ruby, that's your own blood. Like that's your children that you're doing that shit to. But honestly, it made sense at the time or now because like Jody was so manipulative and like manipulated so many people, and she knew exactly what she was doing. Like she
took her, like, psychology and, like, her degree, and, like, she ran with that.
Yeah.
And I think, like...
She wasn't even a psychologist, though, when she was saying she was.
Yeah, which is even crazier, because that was so manipulative. Like, she was like, this, if you Google me, like, this is what you're gonna see, this is what you're gonna find. Like, they were all aware of that, and they were perfectly okay with it. They were like, oh, you're a fraud? Cool, well, that's fine.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I also think it's crazy that Jody blamed Chad for, Ruby blamed Chad for Jody's possessions. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, her possessions, like you're saying, probably just fake. Yeah, all of it fake. And also, do you remember the handprint in her house?
Yes.
That didn't look like a handprint.
No. It looked like a smudge.
Yeah, the interviewer...
from a window.
Yeah, the interviewer, what did he say? His interviewer was so funny. Like, he asked him so many questions, and he didn't care. I honestly liked it, but he was like, did you ever consider that, like, it was a smudge?
Yeah.
And he was like, no.
And
are you sure?
And they were like, this smells better than my hands. And I was like, oh, you're going to be able to see, like, a drag mark.
Yeah, me too.
And then it was really like, someone went like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, where?
So it could be anything.
Literally anything.
Could have been Jody being like, guys, Satan.
I just don't know how her and Ruby became so close to the point where she was able to kick her kid out for a room and ask. Like,
yeah.
Also,
so weird.
The doctor-patient confidentiality that never existed with her and Chad is crazy. Because, like, you would think that as a doctor to a patient, you have to be confidential, but then...
Especially underage, like...
Exactly, then you're saying all these things, like... She also never had her camera on in the men's... Like, after she she never camera on. And I'm like, why didn't you have your camera on? Like, what were you...
And why were their cameras on?
Exactly. Yeah. You would think as the leader of an organization, or, like...
You'd want to show face.
Yeah, exactly. So that was so odd.
Yeah, I agree.
But, like, what you were saying about Chad before, I started seeing it so weird. After I finished it, I started seeing his TikToks today.
And it has TikToks?
Yeah. And he literally...
He goes on lives sometimes, too. I've never, like, watched his lives, and I don't, like, follow him or anything. They'll show up on, like, my For You page. But there's this one... Did you see the clip of her, like, with the markers? Yes. And she's, like, doing some crazy shit?
God.
He recreated that on, like, one of his lives, and I saw this clip, and this girl was, like, talking about it. So... funny. If we have to show you afterwards.
Yeah. It was hilarious. But it's weird for me to see him continue the social media. Because it's just like Sherry literally posted not too long ago and was like, we got engaged. I'm not going to be continuing to show my life on social media. I did that my whole childhood and I'm not doing it anymore. And seeing him still do it, like, I'm kind of still worried about him based off what he's posting and stuff like that. Like,
I think also, though, like, everyone deals with, like, trauma in their own way. Like, I feel like for her, like, it was so much easier for her, not easier, but, like, it was so much better for her to just, like, go quiet, get off, like, the internet completely, and then, like, actually make a difference. And I feel like for him, like, working through it, like, this is how he's doing it. He's, like, making light of it, joking about it. It's, like, I personally would probably have taken her route because I feel like I do want to be out of the spotlight. Like, I don't want that attention. I don't want to, like, make light of, like, such a traumatic experience and abuse. But I feel like for him, it's, like, either, you know, he goes quiet and maybe, like, risks, like, going to, like, depression or, like, you know what I mean? Or he, like, makes light of it and, like, starts joking about it.
And I feel like they both handled it very differently. Like, even in the interviews... She is very much like, I hate my mom. I will never speak to her again. And he's like...
Oh, and she refers to them by name.
Yeah, I had that as a note, too. Like, she calls her Ruby. I don't know. She never really talked about her dad.
I think she did.
She does.
But talks as first name, whereas Chad's like, she was still my mom. It wasn't that bad in the beginning. But, like, imagine being the youngest sibling and watching your older siblings, like, or at least one person forgive their mom for doing that. When it's like, I almost died, and the only reason I didn't is because I ran away, and that could have caused if I didn't find somebody at the house and Ruby found me first, I would have died, basically. Like, I can't believe she kept him outside. Even I didn't know that either. I went into it knowing nothing. Like, Gabby Petito, I knew stuff going into the documentary. This I knew nothing. So, like, seeing all that he was out there like a freaking dog, and she would poke him with a cactus stick.
That I did not know. Like, I knew, I had some knowledge because, like I said, I had been, like, following this and whatever. But when I found out that, like, she was poking with a cactus,
he would try to come back inside because she left him out in the sun all day.
Tied him up outside.
Tied up, no food, no water. Tied him up like a fucking dog.
Oh, and forced him to, like, jump on a trampoline, which obviously, first of all, is black. And second of all, it's hot as fuck outside, and he's jumping constantly.
Like, they had to take evidence of the trampoline where it's worn down and everything. Like, it was a lot. But,
Oh my god.
he would try and come in and she would stab him. And then she said at one point, she was, like, writing, they found all these diary notes. Like, she wrote down everything she ever did to them.
Everything she ever said.
Time by time.
Yeah.
Like,
day by day.
9 a.m. malnourished them or whatever. Like, 10 o'clock, stabbed them. Like, obviously not.
Oh,
but, like,
she was like, I told
his name that he was a snake from the devil when he needed to be, his soul needed to be cleansed or some shit like that.
Like, she literally believed that the kids were possessed, and she got the dad to believe that. All the things that she did were because she thought that she needed them to be healed so that they could go to heaven eventually. Like, that's why she did everything that she did. But yeah, she stabbed him so that he would come inside. And in one of the notes, she said it eventually stopped hurting him and he didn't care.
That's so fucking sad.
He's what, 8?
Yeah, that literally.
You're stabbing him with a literal, like, Fred Flintstone bat with needles on it. Like,
oh my god. And also, some cacti, don't they have those, like, little needles that when you put them in, they get stuck? Yeah, that's what it is. Oh my god.
So you can't just pull them back out. It's like a fish hook, so you can't just pull straight through.
Fuck.
So then how did it end? Because I could not.
So it ended, and you know more because you followed more, but basically the dad went to the prison or whatever to pick up the kids. He didn't know anything.
She called, like, Ruby called him and was like, just so you know, the kids are at this police station. I need you to go pick them up. The little kid, I can't even imagine what he's saying. He's gonna be telling lies, blah, 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 blah. So when he walked into it, he had no idea that, like, they were malnourished and whatever. But he also went into it thinking that, like, his son just hated his mom and he was, like, lying about everything. And then I guess when he saw them, like, he realized.
Not even because the cops were like, do you even know what's been going on? He's like, I'm just here to pick up my kids. And they're like, we can't let them go. They're severely malnourished. They're found with rope burns, all this stuff. And the dad goes, what's malnourished? And he was like, starved, no food, no water, like, evident based off, like, what you can see. And then he got kind of going through it, and he's like, what the fuck? So he goes home. I don't think he got the kids at this point. He goes home, walks in the house. It's a disaster. He messages Chad, because Chad was working as a lifeguard. I was like, we're so sorry. We heard about this all in the news. If you need time, take it. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Goes on his break, looks at his phone, sees everything that's happening, and then messages his dad being like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? The dad's like, I'm going to the house. If you want to meet me there, great. They go in the house. It's destroyed. They talk to neighbors and realize
it's, like, half packed. There was, like, shit sprawled everywhere. Like, it was just a disaster. Like, it looked like nobody had been there. Or, like, they kind of just up and left real quick.
Yeah, like, it looks like someone had a blow-up fight, threw things off tables, and then walked out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so, I don't know where, because you were saying that now they're all in different foster homes or something like that.
I actually don't know where they are right now. So I know Sherry was in, like, school when this went down, so she's, like, living her own life.
So
Chad, living his own life. I don't even know if Kevin has like, custody of the kids right now. I honestly
I don't know either, because at this point, he's already filed for divorce.
Did he?
Yeah, so at the end of the movie, Kevin's filed for divorce.
Wow, because
I didn't think he was going to.
I have one thing.
Because he was like, my marriage is the most important over my kids or something. I was like, are you okay?
Yeah. Okay, I have one hot take. I don't agree with that at all. Like, they're your blood, like, they're your children. They should come before anything. But everyone hated on him a lot for the end of the, like, docuseries and him, like, because they asked him, they were like, do you still love her? And he was like, yes. And he was like, you know, the memories that we had, like, from years, like, all these
created a life with somebody.
Exactly. Like, you still have all those memories, and, like, I feel like he shouldn't be hated on. You don't just fall out of love with who you love sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Like, fair. You don't, you know what I mean? Like, he's being honest, at least, you know? And, like, he's right. Like, he spent, like, 20 years with her. He was literally, like, when they were getting together, he was obsessed with her. Like, not in a weird way, but, like, he just wanted to be with her so bad and would do, like, anything for her. He loved her so much. Yeah. And, like, she did a terrible, disgusting, like, unforgivable thing, for sure. But also, like, she could not be in her right mind. Like, she's definitely mentally unwell. And I think that, like, he shouldn't be faulted for the fact that he still loves who she used to be. It's like Chad, exactly.
Who still, like, she was my mom. She wasn't always a bad mom. I also was wondering if Jody's, like, mental, like, her possessions were her mental health. Like, she has...
she's got some fuck shit.
She's definitely fucked up. But, like, if you actually have mental... Maybe she's fucking schizophrenic.
Yeah.
She's saying she's waking up and seeing things, and sorry, I don't actually know, like, this the diagnosis for schizophrenia, and if I'm, just pulling up shit out of my hat, but like, she could be schizophrenic. She could have, like, I don't know.
I think she's just a narcissist. Like, I think she literally just wanted Ruby to herself, but she knew the only way into, like, Ruby's mind was through, like, some sort of religion.
Yeah, and separating.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that she was able to pin her kids on her own possessions is crazy.
Yeah. And also, not to blame Ruby's parents, but it made me wonder, like, where she, like, how she grew up and how, like, what her teachings were. That's what I mean. And, like, also, what did they teach her? Because, like, I don't know. Like, I get, like, everybody has, like, their own, ways of life and, like, they choose their own choices and stuff like that. But, like, the way you grow up has such an imprint on, like, who you become. And I feel like, she didn't just jump into that, like, like, obviously it was the fame and the money, too, but, like...
You can see the slow incline from, when she actually just, like, filming. First of all, second of all, third of all, this girl's makeup. I don't know who taught you.
Eyebrows.
Your lips. That is not your shade. When you're that pale and your lips are that thin, you should not be highlighting them with a bright red lipstick. That was just, like, too much for me to watch sometimes. I was like, please stop smiling, because she actually looked like a psychopath.
No, she did.
And I was like, you're scary. You're scaring me, and I'm not even in your home.
Yeah.
But what I also thought of at the time is when she started to get all the flack, being like, this girl's abusing her freaking children. And then she converted to, like, away from family vlogging.
Mm-hmm.
I think COVID gave her an excuse to find a new thing to, like, discuss. Basically, like, she was able to target into something else instead of her kids because she was doomsday prepping. Basically, literally, she's like, doomsday prep with me, or I forget.
Emergency pack.
Yeah. So it's like you're feeding off of another fear of people's, and you're profiting off of it. The same way that you're feeding off of Mormon, like the Mormon practice that you have to repent before you go to heaven, or if you sin, you shouldn't have to spend 6 months, 7 months repaying your sins, which are not real sins in the eyes of God anyways. They're disobedience that you perceive. Yeah. Just because your kid kissed a fucking girl. You kissed, how old were they when they got married?
I don't know, I think they were young. Like, most Mormons are young. Like,
exactly.
Their wives.
Yeah. So, like, how are you going to get mad at your son for being 17 and kissing a girl?
I don't know. Can they kiss before marriage?
I don't know what their, like, rules are on that.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, that makes sense then. Like, if that...
I know, like, sex before marriage is definitely not allowed.
Yeah.
Hence all the young parents.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely get that. But
young marriages.
I think when COVID happened, she was like, oh, fine, they don't want me to family vlog anymore. I'll target these other people.
And you know what? At the beginning, Kevin was saying that, like, she has the type of personality where, like, she goes all into things. Yeah. And that made so much sense because, like, as the docuseries, like, progressed, so you could see, like, at the beginning, it was, like, the family vlogging. And she got into, like, the emergency packing. Yeah. Then it was, like, the connections bullshit. Yeah. Then it was, like, the possession bullshit. And, like, I don't know. He's right. Like, if she puts her mind to something, she's going all in. She's doing it. Yeah. That was just, like, crazy. Even her saying she's gonna... This kind of goes back to what I was saying about the state of California. She offered $10 to the kids anytime they wanted to make a video. And I'm like, $10? Yeah. You said $1 million a month. Yeah. You showed your pay stubs. Yeah. Like, if you're bringing home $1 million and you're spitting out 50, 60 for your kids in total, like, where are the laws on that? Like, how do you get away with that? No, that should not be allowed. Even if you're not giving it to them directly, but you're like, this is your student fund now. This is your trust fund for when you're, like, 25, or this is your marriage, like, your wedding money. Like, also, if you're offering to them as a job, like, respect the fact if they don't want to do it. Like, that's the thing. They also that they were employees at the, like, that's one thing they said, I think 2 or 3 times in the whole thing was, oh, we started 8 Passengers Incorporated, and now we have everybody's an employee. And I'm like, and Ruby's a CEO. Like, this is literally like a cult. Like, why does she get to own? Why does she to say, like, have the last say? Yeah.
So then at the end, when they were, like, caught, Ruby and Jody were arrested?
So Jody was found first. They went to Jody's house first.
Which, by the way, that was so funny. Oh, yeah, and she's like, I have my attorney. And he's like, that's great.
Yeah.
You should have
one. Yeah, you should have one.
Call her.
Being on the phone with your attorney before the cops even show up.
Yeah, you know you're
because she knows, as soon as she realized that kid was gone, she was like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Same with Gabby Petito. The exact same thing where he was, like, immediately on the phone with his mom and a lawyer. lawyer. You're lawyered up before the cops even know that you've done something wrong.
Yeah,
because
you're guilty.
You're guilty. And then she was very narcissistic because she was like, my attorney said not to say anything. I want to help you. I want to tell you the truth. I didn't do
manipulation
wrong.
again.
But I'm where you are. I'm a psychologist and I know what you do. And
you're not
flip,
shit.
Yeah. It's like, are you saying that you flip people's words? If you've been in their position and you're worried about your words getting flipped, is that because you manipulate people? Yeah. When you're in power, you manipulate people. Yeah. That's what you just admitted.
And you know what? It was honestly really impressive that the girl cop, when she was like, obviously we were being manipulated. I was like, I'm glad you guys recognize that right off the bat, because that was my first thought. Like, I was like, she's manipulating. Yeah. Like,
yeah. And like the fact that, so they found Jody first, arrested her, went through the house. That's when they found the little girl who, again, I don't know why they shaved her head. She said it in a note.
Yeah, that was fucked.
Literally in a note. She looked like a little boy. They shaved her head. And
they blocked her out so you can't see, but she wrote it down.
Yeah, Ruby wrote it in her, like, big list of things that she had done. Her confession book, basically. She's like, she did this, so we shaved her head. Like, literally confessed to it. And I don't know why. I don't know what her looking like a boy kind of punishment that is.
Oh my god.
But they found Ruby at someone else's house. Wasn't she at somebody else's house?
No, I might have fucked this up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure she left Jody's house. I don't know where she went, and then that's when Jody got caught. I don't know, because she wasn't with the two middles either, but then they said that they were searching the house. I'm 99% sure they were searching Jody's house after she was arrested, and then Ruby just fucking showed up, and they were like, what the fuck? And they were like, okay, well, you're arrested.
Why would you even leave your mind, like, your kids who are minors with this person? And why did they even move out? I still don't know why they even moved out of Ruby's house.
Well, I guess if she was leaving them when they were by themselves with another adult, I guess a bit better, but not really.
And I guess she trusted her, like, with everything.
They were just kind of like both, for lack of a better word, parenting. Yeah, they were both responsible for them. I think they just took it on together.
I personally think they were trying to move to her house because it was so secluded. Like, Ruby was in a neighborhood. Obviously, you could tell that people were, like, catching on, being like, what the fuck is up with you and your family? It's weird.
There's so many neighbors involved in it, and they're like, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
There were so many neighbors.
Yeah. Because there was, like, next door neighbors and then, like, surrounding neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah, but Jody's house kind of was nice from the internet footage. There's, like, not even backyards. It's just all, like, desert around. Even they're close enough that, like, if someone, you know, like, if someone's getting murdered, you'd hear it. But not close enough that
if someone's getting abused, they can run away to the neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not so far that, like, you can't walk to your neighbor's house type of thing. But, like, Jody had that locked room in the basement. Plus, the basement looking like a literal dungeon anyways. It was full cement. So
you're not hearing anything down there?
No, you're probably not hearing anything.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, actually. Oh, God. That's fucked.
Yeah, and then, like you said, the girl was found upstairs in the closet. And, like, was sitting cross-legged. It was kind of like a horror film. Like, did not move, did not speak. Was just sitting there in the middle of the closet.
And it was actually scary because when they walked up, like, the one cop had this huge gun in his hand. And originally, like, this is, like, the room she was in. He went to the door and he had, like, the gun in his hand. He kind of had to, like, walk to the side because he didn't want to freak her the fuck out because he had this huge gun. And then that's when the other cops started, like, talking to her. And she was not speaking to them. She was not, like... She just sat there. And I don't know, she must have just been, like, in shock or, like, so fucking scared.
Or manipulated into not ever... Like, maybe she was never allowed to talk without, like, fear of death punishment from her mom. So maybe she was like, if my mom finds out I told these cops what happened,
I'm dead.
Like, it's like... What's that syndrome?
Munchausen, whatever.
Yeah, something like that, where you are manipulated into believing that your new life is, like... When people get kidnapped, they believe that their kidnapper is, like, their dad.
Oh, yeah. I think so, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure, because that's what Gypsy Rose had, right?
Yeah.
I'm, like, 99% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Google.
I know it's like a trauma bond.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, like, that was scary to see.
Yeah, it was honestly, and it was really scary. Like, she was just sat there, and they, like, brought her, like, some food and stuff, and the cop literally had to sit on the ground with her for, like, hours, just, like, kind of talking to her and trying to get her, like, talk and, like, you know, let her know, like, they're there to, like, help her and, like, they're there to, like, she's safe now, you know.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh.
Described as psychological condition. I think that's where I'll look that up. But Stockholm Syndrome is described as the psychological condition of a victim who identifies with and empathizes with their captured or abuser, which might be more like Chad. Not to the same extent, but basically, like, if somebody kidnaps you, takes you away from your family, and then creates a whole new life with you, and then takes care of you and all this, and you have Stockholm syndrome because you're like, but he loves me and he took care of me and he would never hurt me. But it's like he did, and he took you away from your family. And I feel like apparently it's very rare, but to that extent where he's like, she was abusive, but like I still love her, and she didn't want to hurt us. She really believed, and he said this, she really believed she was doing God's work. And like, yeah, obviously she believed that, but that doesn't negate the fact that she abused you guys. So yeah, the Munchausen something like that.
That is so scary. That is. I think, like, I wonder, like, the work she's gonna do, like, in prison, and if it's gonna, like, change her mindset at all. Like, that's what I wonder. Like,
I don't think so. I think she's gonna say, God has called on me, and I've made myself better, and this, that, and the next thing, and like, it's not. Even Sherry was saying that her tears were fake. Her apology was fake. She's just doing it because she had to have a statement.
But, so then, are they both in jail for 30 years?
Yeah. I don't know if it's 30 years, but yeah, they're both in jail for
I think it is
30. I know Ruby's was.
Yeah, they're both in jail for the same amount. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know if it, like, changes with good behavior for either of them. I'm not really sure about that.
It should
no chance for parole.
No, it shouldn't be. Munchausen syndrome is mental illness where someone intentionally produces or pretends they're ill to gain attention. Right. So that was what agency was. But yeah, like they're in jail now. I don't think I really had anything else that.
No, I think it was just overall very shocking.
Yeah, it was. I actually in the beginning was like, I can't even believe I'm on. Like, this is real.
Yeah,
and I feel horrible that you're like, this isn't real. This can't be real, because she puts on such a good presentation.
I said that to Will because, like, I think we were the first episode in, and I was like, okay, like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, and like you can also, as much as you can clip the good things to always look good, you can also clip the bad things to always look bad. And that's how it looked in the beginning, where like, she's just snapping at her kids. I'm sure moms have all snapped at their kids before. I've been like, literally, stop talking. You're driving me crazy. Like, I'm not saying that's okay, but that's what it looked like in the beginning. And I had no knowledge of it, like, what had happened at all. So all I was seeing was that. I'm like, well, parents sometimes snap at their kids. Like,
6 kids.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're bound to, like, lose your mind.
But then seeing how it progressively got worse.
And
that was not okay.
Also, it was like a jump scare almost when she was like, yeah, I had to help Chad clean his blood off the walls. That's when it went from, like, less severe to more severe. Because then you're like, whoa, we haven't talked about physical abuse yet. All we've talked about is, like, mental manipulation. And yes. So, it was like,
yeah, like, what the hell happened for you to have to clean up blood off the walls?
Yeah, and who did what? Yeah. How does the dad not know that?
And also, not saying that, like, women are, like, any less whatever, but, like, who beat him? Because, Kevin, if it was you, you're talking about you didn't know what was going on, but you're gonna beat your son. And then also, Ruby, if you beat your son, like, what the fuck? Like,
it was nosebleed. So even, and I'm not playing down the damage. The noses bleed a lot. So, like, Ruby could have done...
just, like, pushed him or something like that.
Yeah, like, push him, threw something at him, like, smacked him. And if you break a nose, like, your nose gushing out pierced, and that's, like, intentional trauma, right? So, like, if you're hit in a certain way, then, like, you bleed and it flies somewhere. So, I don't know what... I'm glad they didn't go into detail of, like, what happened, but... like, it just jumped from less abusive to more abusive, and you're like, what even triggered
it? Escalated
really fast. It was like,
I'm really intrigued. I think, like, obviously the 2 youngest ones, it'd be really interesting to hear from them. Not interesting, that's fucked up, but I just mean, like, informative. But, like, the 2 middles, like, they were, like, the spectators of all this shit that happened. And one of them, I'm pretty sure, is, like, 17, 16. So she's, like, almost of age. So I'm wondering if, like, when she does become of age, she's gonna, like, talk about what happened to her and about, like, her experience and, like, her siblings and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm wondering how her family dynamic is now. Like, because Sherry also didn't talk to Chad or anybody. Like, when she left. And I know people were giving her flack because they're like, well, those are your siblings and you're responsible. No. You are not responsible for your siblings. You can feel responsible for them to take on that responsibility, but it is not yours to take on.
No.
And you shouldn't be berated for not doing so. You're going to school. You went through the abuse too. You're equally a victim, the same way that they are.
I'd be curious to know, like, were the middles spared? Like, did anything happen to them?
I feel like they were, because the spotlight when 8 Passengers started was on Chad and
Sherry.
So the mom probably highlighted them a lot until they got kicked out, and then it was like the older ones had already been disciplined, and they knew, like, growing up under, probably watching the older two get abused. They were probably like, no, I'm not.
Just be quiet.
I'm not doing that. Whereas the youngers were testing fate a little bit more.
Yeah.
Literally, they were just like, how far, as kids do, how far can I push my mom? How far can I push this boundary? What am I actually going to get punished for, or what are they going to say is okay? I feel like as the middles, and I mean, it's a middle child thing, people always say the middles get overlooked.
Yeah.
Like, people care about the oldest, people care about the youngest, nobody cares about your middle kids. Like, that's just a stereotype thing that people say. So that's just like, I'm wondering if they really missed. Obviously, they had been abused nonetheless, but I'm wondering if they missed the physical abuse.
Yeah.
Or, like, if they even knew about the abuse that's happening to the younger two. Yeah, because that's hard to watch.
Yeah.
As two kids. I also,
it's on Disney Plus.
yeah.
What?
Well, it's Star.
Yeah.
So I think because it's through Star, like, Disney is just like, whatever. But, the dad, he said when he was going back, he would pick his wife over his kids. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That is one thing that sat with me, and I was like, whoa.
And at first, I was, like, mad at him for the most part. So I was like, you obviously knew what was happening. My dad would never leave and not talk to me for a year.
No.
Like, I called him the other week. It'd been like 2 weeks. He's like, God, I thought you were mad at me or something. We haven't talked in a while. 2 weeks, and that's long for him and I not to talk. But, like, again, we're adults.
Yeah.
When we were younger, living at home, seeing him, first of all, saw him every weekend. Second of all, he'd call the house. We call him. Like, it doesn't make sense to not want to be in contact, to not get a lawyer, know your rights.
Yeah,
there's
something wrong there.
Yeah, and I know that he said that he didn't feel comfortable because he wanted his marriage to thrive, but, like, why are you putting your potential marriage, she's off getting whatever by Jody, and you're just gonna wait for her, and then you're gonna let your relationship with your kids go? I have no idea how their family dynamic is now. Like, do the younger kids see the older kids? Do they want to be a family again? I don't think Sherry will ever forgive her dad.
No. I don't know. I feel like it'd be really hard for me to, like, forgive. Like, knowing that, like, he could have stepped in or, like, at any point could have just checked in and, like, made a difference. Like, that's crazy. You're right. Like, a year, I don't know. To pick your marriage over your kids, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, he literally said, I'll choose her over my children.
Yeah. And, like, there wasn't a marriage there. They were separated.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you choosing? The dream of hopefully getting back together?
Yeah.
Like, you might as well just go to jail with her. Also, he didn't even fight for her at all. Like,
No.
like,
He left immediately.
Yeah. And, like, not even fight for the kids. Like, that's one thing. But, like, he didn't even fight for his marriage at all. Like, you just said, you want me to leave? Okay, bye. What the fuck?
Like, imagine coming home and your wife being like, you have to move out.
And you
so
being
does
like,
Chad, and you're like, yes, honey.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Yes, my dearest love of my life. Like, what?
But we're still getting back together.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to check in. I'm not going to... You can't work on your marriage if you're not communicating.
Yeah. You have your space with your lover, I guess.
Lesbian lover. And you sin in the eyes of your God.
Yeah.
And make our children pay for it.
Yeah. And I'll be here waiting.
Yeah. Also, you're okay losing a whole year of your children's lives. Like, you have no idea what even if they weren't being abused and shit, like, you're missing a whole, like, school year.
Yeah.
You're missing, like, sports and events.
Birthdays.
And, like, fucking birthdays. Like,
speaking of events, Christmas. Did you see the part where
they didn't get gifts? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, fine, if you want to give gifts to your kids for whatever reason, fine. But do that to all of them. If you don't believe in gifts,
or do, like, a big gift for all together. It's like, hey, we're going to Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah.
Literally. But don't, and to make your younger kids sit and watch the older two open gifts, to make them throw out gifts from their friends.
Yeah,
what lesson are you teaching people?
There's no lesson.
You're not. That's just, I have power, and you have to know that I have power, and you have to know that I can do and will do whatever I want at your expense. I don't care how it affects you.
Yeah, and you have to succumb to me.
Yeah, exactly. Was that the middle children or the younger two? I don't remember.
That didn't get gifts.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was all four of the younger ones, or if it was the younger two for sure didn't get gifts. I don't know about the middles. I think the middles did get gifts, but I'm not sure.
That's just...
I think it was when the older two weren't living there.
Sherry?
Yeah, Sherry wasn't.
Yeah. But I don't know about Chad. I think he was still there because I'm pretty sure Kevin was there. So yeah. Because then Kevin... Actually, I don't know, because Jody was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
And I think he did live there with all of them though at one point.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, right, with Kevin too, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a clip about Chad talking about how, like, that was, like, one of the best Christmases. And then he was like, aside from the kids not getting gifts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I get it, because, like,
but when was it your best Christmas?
Yeah.
What part of that?
He got a lot of gifts, I guess?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, when you look back, you could be like, I still would never classify that as the best Christmas.
No.
I think he was saying that everyone seemed happy. But how did
How?
everyone seem happy?
There was less videotaping, like...
I think he had, like, this, like... He kept saying that he loves Jody. He loves her.
Yeah.
I don't know if that meant, like, he was, like, in love with her in a weird way.
Infatuated with her.
Yeah, because...
Attracted.
Like, she was there...
She's not cute.
Not at all. But, like, she was there for that Christmas, so I'm like, maybe that has something to do with it, like, because she was there and able to, like, experience it with them.
He did feel like he was getting fixed by her.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning of their, like, therapy sessions, he was like, I'm doing better. She's teaching me all these ways and how to forgive and how to...
Like, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
No.
I guess, I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but he did get expelled from school. So he was walking around, and he did say that he had, like, a problem with authority and, like, listening to authority and, like, adults and stuff.
Yeah.
So was that actually him talking, or is that stuff that his mom had fed him to, like, to believe about himself? Like, you have problems with authority. I don't remember him getting expelled from school, but...
Yeah. Because he said that he was getting suspended, but Ruby made a video with, like, Kevin saying, like, oh, Chad got expelled, like, we aren't sure what to do, we're gonna send him to, like, a wilderness camp.
Oh, yeah.
And then the thing is, he started changing up when they threatened to send him to that military camp. That's when he was like, I got my shit together, like, that scared the crap out of me, whatever. But I'm like, I'm for, like, therapy, and I think therapy can be helpful, especially in, like, kids when they don't really know what to do with their emotions, and they're very hormonal, and, like, in their teenage phases, whatever.
How to get through stuff.
Yeah, but also, I found it weird that when he was in therapy, like, they were playing it out loud. Like,
Yes, that's what I mean.
She was there listening, like, yeah.
And then she was posting it on
on
her
the fucking
YouTube.
internet. Yeah.
Chad, what are you guys discussing today? What have you learned in this session today? And he's
that's not okay.
No, that's literally against
Private
HIPAA.
shit. Yeah.
Again, I don't know how things are in the States, but I know they have privacy laws on doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think that, like, I've never done my therapy sessions online, but I think you have to be in a room or whatever without
anyone
other
there.
people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're allowed to do a session with people that can even, like, hear you. Because when I even did my consultations, they're like, are you in a private space? And I have to be like, yes. And I was like in my bedroom or whatever, but they don't allow that. So to be like, oh, sorry, I'm cooking dinner. Let me just put you on the laptop real quick.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I didn't agree with that at all. And, like, I felt bad for him that he just had to, like, accept that this was, like, their lives. And, like, I don't know. I felt bad for him. I feel bad for all of them, obviously. And, like, Sherry, too, like, it's so, like, isolating and, like, when you're... First of all, she was disowned from her family. That was so fucked up when she went to go see her mom. And what did she say to her?
I don't even remember.
I guess
You've been disowned from the family. She was off the car insurance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The other
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, the health insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that was so fucked. Like, I can't even imagine, like, being so worried about your siblings. Like, for people to give her hate for that is so fucked up to me.
Yeah.
Like, she went through... You're right. She went through that abuse.
Cops the first time.
Yeah. And, like, she went through it, too. Like, she had to do something for herself in order to get out of that situation. And I support that for sure. Like, she was in school. Also, her fucking mom didn't want her there anyways.
Yeah. I also
like,
wonder if she didn't make that first 911 call, if the second would have escalated the same way. Like, if they would have gone to that house all up in arms after the kid was found. You know what I mean?
I feel like they probably still would have, because I don't even know if they put those two together.
That it was Jody's house?
Yeah, because he didn't say, like, my name is... I don't even know if I'm allowed to say his name, by the way. But that's his name. Anyways, I don't know if he said his last name. And, like, they put two together. I'm not really sure. I think they just looked at the state of him and were like, what the fuck? Like,
and he said he was, like, 12 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember too much. But yeah, like, just the fact that everybody... And I also felt so sad when the one neighbor was like, I should have lied and said
I saw that.
Because that's not her fault. She literally didn't know that anything was happening, right? And, like, you're just being truthful and, like, I don't see anything.
Yeah.
But, like...
This is the problem also that, like, with CPS and, like, DCFS, whatever, all those, like, child protective services kind of thing, like, they don't do fucking anything. Like, they'll go into a home and they have to have some sort of, like, literally physical evidence, and it's like, yeah, but you could have just like had a conversation with the mom. Like, did literally anything, a wellness check. You're really right. Like they would have seen that the kids were fucking by themselves and probably already malnutrition or malnourished or whatever. Like then, you know what I mean? And, like that's crazy to me. Like that there was no onus on like DCFS for not stepping in at all.
Same as the Gabby Petito case with the doctor or the police who were like, we'll do our due diligence, but whatever happens after this isn't our problem anymore. Yeah. Like how can you even verbalize that when you're on camera?
Yeah.
And like
and say that's the overall attitude.
Yeah, it's like we did our best, we came here, but we can't do anything more. And I understand you can't go into a home without a search warrant.
But wasn't this in a similar area?
I don't remember. Is Gabby Petito?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was in Utah. Gabby was in Utah?
I don't know.
I think so.
I thought it was in Florida.
I thought so too.
I know that's where Brian's family lived.
Oh, but you mean like where he killed her?
Yeah.
I feel like you're right. I think it was in Utah.
Wyoming, Bridgerton National Park.
Oh yeah, it was. They were in Utah and they were traveling to Wyoming.
Yeah, like they went they did the whole road trip or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, same thing where you're not like you're washing your hands of your responsibility by being like, I did my due diligence and I came here, I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, now I'm walking away. And it's like you barely showed up. And I get you can't do anything if a judge says no, but you can fight against that. You can add people. I have witness after witness. Sherry wasn't just somebody. She's somebody who lived in the house. Mm-hmm. She knew what happened, like, in that house.
Yeah, and she was of age at this point,
and
right?
she was her own. She was a victim herself. So being like, I have concerns about what's going on, you have to go check on them. I feel like as a cop, I would risk my job going into a place without a warrant if I had probable cause to worry about people.
Mm-hmm. Like especially if the neighbors are saying, I'm seeing children in the windows.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
I want to know if they even went to the house in general and, like, even knocked on the door. And then, like, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if the kids just didn't answer it or if they even went. Because if you didn't even make the effort to go, is crazy. Mm-hmm. You could have walked by and seen the kids in the fucking window yourself. Like,
yeah, literally.
It's not illegal to knock on a fucking door.
Yeah, and if the kids answer and say, come on in, also not illegal.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't know.
But
yeah, I don't know. Different country.
Yeah, everything down there is so different. But basically, like, I was just shocked in general by the severity of everything after what seemed like it was just, I don't want to say just, but like, yeah, it was just annoyance and impatience and a short temper and whatnot.
And it escalated to that.
And it escalated to, like, cleaning blood off of walls and hiding cleaning supplies and just, like, the amount of stuff they threw out.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
I think it all comes down to, like, the craziest part is, like, social media is legit fake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, everything in social media. Like, again, watching those videos and seeing the clips that she posted compared to, like, the fullest thing.
Yes, I also said that. Why did she keep it? Why did she keep any of that stuff?
Because she believed that, like, literally she wasn't doing anything wrong.
That's true.
I guess maybe she just didn't get around to editing it, or she decided she didn't like that piece.
Yeah, or wanted to save it for, like, another time or something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
There were so many clips, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
didn't they say they found, like, 1,000 hours of footage or something?
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
At the beginning, I guess Kevin, like, handed over, like, 1,000 hours of footage or whatever,
That's insane. And just to, like, in the blink of an eye, go from screaming to your kids to, like,
hey! Yeah.
And then being like, hey, and then stopping and being like, hey! Like, she literally would compose herself in 2 seconds and just, like, be done with it.
Yeah.
And that's just insane.
Psycho behavior.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I'm actually glad. I was worried that they were going to fight as not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried when they were reading their plea and they were like, what do you plead? And they were like, guilty.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that they only pled guilty because they offered a plea bargain.
What was the plea bargain?
Because they got charged. I don't know if they got charged with more than that when they got arrested, but they had way more that they could have put on them.
Yeah, because 6 charges of aggravated assault.
So I guess there's one per child.
Yeah.
It could have been many
more.
more.
Yeah. They should have been attempted murder.
Yeah.
At the very least. So maybe they didn't get a plea bargain.
And, like, I don't know if Jody even got charged for, like, practicing without her license, and she could have got charged for all that shit. And they didn't, so.
She already got charged with why she didn't have a license.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, then she continued. So
yeah.
I guess she could have done more. Yeah, so I bet you $100 they got, like, plea bargains and they took those, and that's the only reason they pled guilty. Because they probably would have got more jail time and, like, more
probably life in prison.
Yeah.
Because it could have been, like, unfit parent, like child
Yeah.
neglect,
Yeah.
like all that.
Yeah.
How old are they?
Child endangerment. So I think, like, the younger girl, I'm pretty sure she's like 8, something like around Jackson's age. And then I think you're right. I think he's around like 12, 11, 12.
I think that's what he said to that neighbor. He was like, a 12-year-old boy or something.
Yeah. And then the 2 middles, I'm pretty sure they're in their teens. So I think one of them's around 14, 15, the other one's like 16, 17. And then Chad, I think he's like 20. I don't
How
know.
old are the parents now? Because, like, how much longer like, not longer, but, like, if they're in their mid-30s, they're going to be in jail till their 60s.
Yeah.
That still feels like not enough time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you shouldn't come out until you're at least 75 and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I would think, because Sherry was at least 18.
True.
So they had to be in their 40s, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so too.
Also, I kept thinking her last name was, like, just Ruby Frank, not
So
Ruby
did I.
Frankie. Because it's just not spelled like I would see a Frankie.
No,
it should be IE. Yeah.
She is 43 now. So she's born in 82.
Oh, she's younger than my mom?
Yeah, she's younger than my
Whoa.
parents.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so she's 43. So yeah, she won't get out till she's like 73. Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Straight to the old age home.
Yeah, straight to the insane asylum.
Yeah.
And that's not, she could get out early. Like, I don't know if they can get out for good behavior if they're like,
Do they
set.
have?
Well, it's definitely not your typical documentary.
Yeah.
I would watch.
Literally.
They said there's a parole hearing scheduled for 2026.
Next year. Holy shit.
Which is very soon after their
Arrest.
convictions. Like, that seems far too soon.
Maybe that's to determine if there will be parole.
Oh, like,
Yeah, it says pardons and parole hearing pushed to 2026. So, release new information pertaining to them. After being sentenced in February 2024 on 4 counts of child abuse, but a second-degree felony. They're planning to hold original hearings, have been moved from September till next year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, if you guys have listened to this or watched this docuseries, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked.
Yeah, I did not, like I said, I've been like following and I was just, I don't know. I cried. Like, I was so sad. So funny.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
So I think that was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I also just want to say that if our facts are wrong or we come across as like uneducated,
We are, yeah.
we are just, this discussion is based solely on the docuseries that we watched.
And our like personal opinions. On
Yeah, exactly. Nothing is fact.
In our super limited knowledge.
Yeah, so if you are interested in it, go watch it yourself. Obviously, like, we giggle through this and we're not making light of the situation by any means. And it is a very serious and like heavy topic, which is also, some people cope with that by making light of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope that the kids all get their own type or version of healing.
And I'm glad this is being like discussed now. Like, I'm glad
Yeah.
that like they realize that there's an issue with like, you know, family vlogging and like DCFS
Yeah.
and police and stuff. Like, I'm glad that that's being talked about now.
Hopefully that, like, in the future there's less child monetization and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is only really a first step.
Yeah.
There's definitely a long way to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thanks.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this little guest on our podcast.
Yes. Hopefully she'll be back.
Definitely back.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.